You know, one thing that's really ironic, that really strikes you when you think about it, is that when you have a conversation with Muslims from other schools of thought, and you tell them, look, the Quran has so many verses about hypocrites. Why are you asking me to follow all companions? Why? Doesn't the Quran say there are hypocrites who surrounded Muslims and the Prophet ﷺ in Medina? You know what many of them will tell you? They'll tell you, yes, we recognize that at the time of the Prophet, there were hypocrites. But then after the Prophet ﷺ passed away, what happened to those hypocrites? Most Muslim schools of thought, you know what their theology is, what their attitude is? Suddenly all those hypocrites magically became believers. Because as long as the Prophet was alive, there were hypocrites. The Quran is very clear. But the second the Prophet ﷺ leaves this ummah, all of them become good and you cannot criticize any of them. You have to follow all of them and respect all of them. So what happened to those hypocrites? They evaporated? They just vanished when the Prophet left? You know, this ideology is actually insulting to the Prophet ﷺ. Because when you try to analyze it in hindsight, they're really telling us that the only obstacle in the way of those hypocrites from believing was the presence of the Prophet. Because as long as he was alive, the Quran insisted there were a lot of hypocrites in Medina, around Medina. But the minute he leaves, he departs back to his Lord, they all magically vanish. What kind of logic is that, brothers and sisters?